Beyond the Clef is presented by Director's Choice.
Welcome to Beyond the Clef. We're here with our first interview at SMSE 2018, and I'm here with Dinah Menger. Welcome on the program, Dinah.
Thank you very much.
It's been so great to get to talk to you the last couple of minutes, and you're such a lovely person. Now, Dinah you're currently the Director of Choral and Elementary Music for Fort Worth ISD.
Yes.
And you're also TMEA and TMAA past president.
Yes.
So lots that you've done in your career so far.
Yes. I love San Antonio and music educators and love to serve.
Sure. So we've been talking a lot lately about your underserved children and underserved teachers in the district. Tell me more about that.
As my new role in administration, it's given me the opportunity to really see some realistic classroom experiences. That's one of the facets of my experience. The other one is being a big listener at TMEA in my roles as vocal VP and then as president. Just hearing from teachers that need someone to hear them and to help them. One of the big problems right now is teacher burnout, because not everyone has the kind of teaching situation that I had at the end of an 18-year career or stepping in as a first-year teacher at a brand new, shiny school. More than that is teachers coming into classrooms with no materials for them, unruly kids, administrators who don't value them, and things of that nature. And when you do that day after day after day, you're done. And we're just finding more and more teachers saying, I just don't want to do this. And I want to throw away my 5-year music education career that I worked so hard to get because I don't think I'm effective. And I just don't think...
like you said, underserved, but they feel like they're not good.
They feel like they're not heard.
Right.
They feel like they aren't good
I feel like in the first, when I first started teaching, year 1, year 2, I remember a lot of people saying, well, you're not really great at it until year 5 and whatnot. And I felt really bad when I heard that. I was like, I think I'm trying really hard in year 2.
Right.
And I think I'm doing okay, but I'm not. And then I really realized, honestly, for me, it was like year 5, 6, 7, 8. Finally, about year 8, I was like, you know what? I think I know what I'm doing here. At least I know how to get the information.
Yes.
So what, as in your current role at Fort Worth ISD, or what in TMEA past president, what have you done to try to help these 1 to 5 year teachers, these burnout teachers?
A lot of presence, a lot of listening. We work very hard to have incredible staff development that is not where you just look at your watch because you have to be there.
That's always so hard.
But we try to build it like
starting up next week, a couple of those,
right.
and sometimes it gets rough.
Well, I look at it like an overture to a beautiful musical. And the overture and listening to all that great music is what gets an audience excited for the curtain to open. So we really try to listen to the teachers and ask what they want and bring in people from around the nation, not just as well as our colleagues.
It's great to get that perspective, especially outside of Texas. We get in this little bubble, I feel.
Right. So if we buy a material written by an author, we bring in the author of that material to train them on it. That's one aspect. Another aspect is that it's very important that each new teacher have a mentor, and that mentor needs to be someone who knows teacher speak from that district, and they can help them through the ins and outs. And it's for whatever they need, from a drink, at 5 o'clock somewhere, to coffee in the morning and saying, I know you didn't want to get up out of bed today to do it, I'll meet you at Starbucks. We can do it one more day. Sometimes you just need that. To emailing them and saying, this worked great for me, here's all this material for you, use it, use it, use it.
Do you find that when you are so open with the teachers like that, then that helps, it seems like that would help them feel like they can approach you with questions more?
I do not sugarcoat ever, because coming into our district is very fine, and we have a new superintendent that is just very innovative, far-thinking, not afraid of fight. His name is Dr. Kent Scribner.
Okay.
And I love him because when he came in, he said, I'm taking Fort Worth on this bus and we're moving in this direction. If you want to be on the bus with me, you're going to have to get on and go where we're going. And if you don't want to, that's fine, but you won't be welcome on our bus. and he is very slowly and methodically moving things forward and aligning us. And so I'm trying to take our department and to do the very same thing, because we have 82 elementary schools, 17 middle schools, 17 high schools. Did I say 29 middle schools?
Okay.
And 17 high schools. 13 of those have fine arts programs in them. So we're our own city.
Yeah.
So going back to helping teachers, we're so spread out and so isolated on our own campuses, and like to get from one elementary school to another elementary school could take you as much as 30 minutes to get across the city. So we have a lot of mentor meetings, teacher get-togethers where we feed them, and we just talk honestly and openly about things. The other thing that I really try to do that I think is so important is I really try, especially now that we're getting more teachers in that are really on the same boat. I spent a lot of time having to get rid of some people that just didn't kind of want to play with us, is I don't talk at them. We share. Okay, what do you guys think this should be? You take ownership of this. I'll do whatever you think. Let's look at this material. What do you think needs to happen? So it's a collaboration. It's
like
not a
curricularly,
dictatorship.
you kind of
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. Curriculum. We're under a new curriculum rewrite right now, and so I've got brilliant teachers in, and we're all learning about things as we go. Strategies. Is the calendar working? Do we need to try things differently here? So it's an everyday collaboration.
How do elementary teachers play into the role musically for the development of the child through middle school and high school? Because I feel like in my program, sometimes I feel like when they come in the door in 6th grade, I'm teaching them starting off.
Yes.
Right? And honestly, in my situation with them only getting in once a week and whatnot for just a few minutes in elementary, I feel like their role is to get them to love music.
Right.
And that's their number one goal, to get them to continue into the music direction. Is that true, or do you find a difference?
It is the most integral part of the music process. If you take a funnel and turn it upside down, so the big part's down here, that's elementary school.
Okay.
So every elementary school music teacher sees every elementary school child. Every child. They're the massive filter for what they want to do as the funnel narrows and goes up.
They're one of the few teachers that do see every child.
For 5 years.
Yes.
From kindergarten through 5
And
years
that's the
of age.
just thinking about that, that's the longest development musically of anybody. High school is only 4 years. I never really thought of it that way.
That's right. So they see them from the very beginning, and they know their differentiated learning styles. They know their buttons. They can watch them, that they were sad in the 2nd grade, and they start to see a light shining in the 3rd grade. What happened? If you're going to conduct an ARD, you want your elementary music teacher in on that ARD because they know the child better. But in a 75,600, I think that's the new state adopted minutes of instruction, in our district anyway, children see their elementary school music teacher 2,200 minutes. Out of all of those minutes, that's all they get. So my push is to help administrators understand that if you want a child to be able to look at a symbol, decode a symbol, organize a symbol, read it from left to right, you want them in music class because that's going to help with their reading. It's going to help with math. More importantly though, because I don't think music educators should defend our presence because we help other studies, music education on its own gives a child a place where probably for the first time in the day, a music teacher actually knows their name, allows them to speak. They don't get in trouble for speaking. They find their own voice. They learn how to use their voice, and they're part of a larger picture. And in a classroom, be quiet, sit in your chair. Not all of them. I'm not speaking universally.
Yeah, of course.
But they're more often than not, you got in trouble because you lost your homework. You have to take remediated math, which means more hours of a subject where you already feel bad about yourself in. So we're just going to really just crush your spirit even more. rather than allowing them to come to a music class, be seen, heard, loved. It's okay to stand up and move around the room, know your whole body, know where music is within you. It's just, it's a beautiful thing.
So what can I do as a middle school director? I'm a middle school head band director. What can I do to engage better with my elementary teachers? I have 3 feeders. Or my high school directors too. What can we do to engage better with them?
I'll tell you exactly what to do. Elementary music teachers, and I'm learning this because I didn't do it this way, right?
Sure.
I learned to do it this way. Take them to lunch. Take them to dinner. Know that they know that you're there, and talk to them about what you'd like for them to work on so that they don't feel like they're an alien in a strange land when they hop from 5th grade to a 6th grade middle school band program. What do they need to do? The kids in those programs need to know you too, and like athletics do, we're not aggressive in scouting like football coaches are. Elementary school teachers need to look at a kid and say, this child has it. I'm calling that middle school person right now and saying we can't lose this kid. That's some of the ways to do it. Something that we're doing in our district, because we lose so many kids to other CTEs, visual arts, things of that nature, and they don't stay in music, is we keep hard data on every kid that we had in elementary school, and we make sure that those kids go to a music program if they're supposed to. And if at the 6th grade, if they've gone to that middle school and the teacher doesn't have that name on their list, they call that elementary school and say, I want the name and number of that parent, I want to know where they are. If they're in this school, I want them with me. Or if they're at my friend's school, I want them with them. They can't get out of music.
How do you said hard data. Tell me more about that.
Names, where they're going.
Oh, I see.
You know,
okay.
just this, I have this many kids in the 5th grade. These 27 are going to this middle school. These 80 are going to this middle school. And I've talked to them all. They want to take music in some form or capacity. And we really communicate with our secondary teachers to make sure, because we're losing so many kids. They're just not as many kids are coming into it. And I don't know about band and orchestra, but especially men in music, young boys staying in music in some capacity, so that we can grow those young men up in music and artistry and discipline and learning how to be in the world.
I at Heritage Middle School, where
Yes.
I teach, I have a great choir director, Morgan Kirby. I'll throw her
Yes.
name in there.
Yes.
She's very fantastic at getting the young men, the young boys that are in athletics, doing all that stuff. She's really great about keeping them in her program. She does a fantastic job at that. How can I work with her better to arrange the curriculum of our elementary teachers?
One of the things that we're doing in Fort Worth that we're just starting this coming year is we have so many schools, and elementary school teachers teach things differently, which is fine. But there has to be a certain kind of alignment, because all of us are noticing more transient populations. That's happening everywhere in Texas. So you get a child that hops from one school to another school. They were the hero of their music program in one school. They go to a different school, which may be farther ahead, or using a different counting system, or doing a different methodology. So the kid doesn't think it's the teacher's fault. They think it's their fault. Oh, I'm not good in music. I'll just take I'm just going to get out of music because I can't keep up. It's embarrassing because I don't know this language. So we have to work to align more, so that in every district, whatever you agree to align with, you have to know what each other is doing. One of the things that we do in elementary school is in the 5th grade this year, we're going to make sure that by the 5th grade, they can all count in the Eastman system, which is what it's very, lots of articulation.
Sure.
And band, orchestra, they love that.
Sure.
A lot of choir directors love that. But they can at least move to an aligned system. So in 5th grade, we are preparing them for that 6th grade.
So if we have elementary schools as, let's say, a college course, I feel like that's music 101, if you will. If that was a college course, that would be the title of it. That's the very first foundation, like you said,
Yes.
of what we're doing. So now you're also the choral director of Fort Worth ISD. How do you connect the seniors to what you're doing from the beginning? What's the long-term goal there? Because it's not just a 7-year process like some of us think.
That's right.
It's 12-year process.
So keeping a kid in music from day one, first of all, engaging repertoire. So a teacher has to be able to read in the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade how they're developing and keeping them engaged in fantastic repertoire, keeping them wanting to do the process, taking them out of the school to the middle schools, to the high schools, being part of that. You know, we all do it, those pyramid programs. Problem is, we do it, once a year? It's got to be looping constantly. It is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week process to keep up with those kids, just like football coaches do. When they have summer camps, they invite those babies to their summer camps, and they have summer camps for them, so that all fear of the unknown is dissipated. You bring your middle school, your elementary schools up to the middle school campus and let them walk around the entire campus with you, and you take them on a tour of the school. And then you bring in your kids and say, oh, you're taking that class? Let me tell you how to get from this class to that class. It's just it's fear of the unknown. None of us like that, and we all like to feel like we're good at something. And so you have to have someone that looks at you and says, thank you, teacher, for what you're doing. I love what you're doing with these kids. You sound great, or you could do that better. Let me work with you for a little bit. We cannot put ourselves in a bubble, and that's why we're so just isolated now. I just think there has to be more looping, I call it, one-on-one. So that the goal of a kindergarten teacher, she's invited to the high school graduation of a senior and watches them sing or play at their graduation because they never lost out on music. It's the most important thing.
And they start that love early on, from the beginning.
Yes. Here's the, if I can digress for a bit and tell you what I see a lot. This is not unusual in any classroom, in elementary school, anywhere. A child who has been yelled at or completely ignored in the morning, that comes to school, and the music teacher will notice this, in the same shirt that they had on yesterday, may be worn inside out because lunch stains from yesterday weren't on it. Then they may be medicated either correctly or improperly. Mother either can or cannot afford their medication if they're on it, or they have a low emotional IQ. They can't play a game because
we've all seen this so much, and we know. We know these kids.
Yeah, but I do want to get, because this is so tragic. And then an elementary school teacher, just a whole classroom of teachers is just dumped in. So you have all of these behavior modifications, along with the 5 children who really want to sit and work, who can sit and work. Some little babies just can't stand still. So you have all of your ORF instruments set up. You've only got them 37 lessons for an entire year. And what are you supposed to do? Sacrifice 2 more times to having them learn procedures so that you can get them. It's just, we have to help our elementary music teachers.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Well, you're very passionate about this, and we've learned so much, and there's so much more that we can get. We're definitely going to have you back on the program sometime. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and honor to get to meet you.
I can't believe it's over, because I have 1,000 more things to say.
Oh, I know you do, and we will get you back on.
Okay.
We love it, and you've had so much information and great gems.
Thank you, David.
I know that my elementary teachers, I'm going to go back home to them, and we're going to have lunch.
There you go.
I'm going to take them lunch in their conference coming up here pretty soon. So Dinah Menger, Fort Worth ISD, Director of Choral and Elementary Studies, thank you for being on the program, and thanks for joining us Beyond the Clef.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Beyond the Clef. For more great content, subscribe on our website at beyondtheclef.com, and be sure to follow us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Facebook.